Hey, real quick, check with your friends at a barbecue sometime to see how many know that their taxes are helping to fund papers by international busybodies who want to force them to eat less meat. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV, and I want to send you this beautiful love letter of a menu from 3 politically connected busybody groups of politicians and scientists around the globe. Yeah, they are folks who are dependent on government money, and they've decided that they know just how you should eat. As James Murphy of the New American reports, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change just issued a report suggesting that humans eat less meat. The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, has issued a new report that, among other things, urges humanity to eat far less meat. The report claims that a less meaty diet will free up valuable land, especially in Amazonia, to soak up more carbon from the air. Of course, this is the IPCC, the organization at the center of the data manipulation scandal called ClimateGate, that more and more people are now recognizing as possibly being far less than trustworthy when it comes to climate science. That would include people like atmospheric scientist Stephen Japar, who warned, temperature measures show that the climate model predicted mid-troposphere hot zone is non-existent. This is more than sufficient to invalidate global climate models and predictions made with them! Exclamation point. And when it comes to the Amazon rainforest, the concern is actually misplaced. The problem is not, as we're often told, unscrupulous and unfettered capitalism, but is in fact the fact that there is no private property allowed there. Indeed, as Fernando Chioca reports for Mises.org, so does the Amazon belong to the Brazilian state? In fact, the Brazilian government possesses the territory where the Amazon rainforest is located. And the Brazilian government rents the land, just like the United States Bureau of Land Management does with the land that the federal government owns in the U.S. I mean, who's going to have a long-term plan to husband resources if they don't actually own the land? They just come in, use it, and then they leave. Meanwhile, in Germany,
Hähnchen, Brustfilet.
Politicians are proceeding with a plan that many in the UN love, the taxation of protein-rich meat. As Local.de tells us, German politicians are speaking out in favor of raising the VAT, value-added tax, on meat in a bid to improve animal welfare and cut CO2 emissions. And that means a doubling of that value-added tax from 7% to 19%. And in jolly old England, they're not to be outdone. In fact, as Alison Kershaw writes, beef burgers have been banned by a university as part of efforts to tackle the climate emergency. Goldsmiths, no relation to me, I hope, University of London, said it is to remove all beef products from sale from next month as the institution attempts to become carbon neutral by 2025. Students will also face a 10-pence levy on bottles of water and single-use plastic cups when the academic year starts to discourage use of the products. And this school is, of course, subsidized with government tax money. Hey, why not make sure that people who don't even go there have to pay for it? And all of this comes despite the fact that the IPCC's data problems are very apparent, and despite the fact that 2 independent research groups just concluded that the so-called anthropogenic climate change theory is wrong. The politically connected tax-funded gangs keep pushing for their meat taxes and telling us they're gonna live sustainably. So let's close by focusing on that last little bit. Sustainability. As I wrote for MRC-TV, the next time you hear a lefty mention sustainable, ask him or her to define that word. First of all, the leftists will probably blink, then imply something about environmentalism and recycling. But if you press that person and ask, what is sustainability? They won't be able to answer you. In fact, they won't be able to answer you without referring to something very important: price. And a price requires private property and market choice for people to decide what they value. Collectivism, which is the goal of many, if not most, of the people in politics pushing so-called sustainability, does not allow for individual valuation. Thus, it doesn't allow for people to decide prices, and thus it doesn't allow the market to reveal what is sustainable. And that's why economics is so important, because economics reveals what people value and allows people to decide what is sustainable and how the environment will be managed.
I love steak.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that little bell because it's supposed to tell you when things pop up. And tell your friends about us because it helps skirt the censorious out there, if you get my drift. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.